In this week's episode of Working with Evernote, we're going to show you how to save your notes. Hello and welcome to this, I think, 48th episode of Working with Evernote. I could be wrong. My name is Carl Pauline, and in this week's episode I'm going to show you how you can save your iBooks or Kindle highlights and notes into your Evernote account. Now, I'm going to be perfectly honest here. I only know how to do this using an iPhone or an iPad. I don't actually know how to do this using an Android device or a Windows device. So I do apologize to you Android users out there. I really should invest in an Android device so I could show you, but sadly I haven't got round to doing that yet. But anyway, one of the beauties of physical books, the old-fashioned, are they old-fashioned? Paper books, is that you could highlight parts of the book, you could write notes in the margins, and you could actually have something that you could keep forever. Now, the thing with digital books, Kindle or iBooks, for example, is you can't actually do that. But what you can do is you can highlight sections of the book. You can actually leave notes in the book. Certainly in Kindle you can, because that's the one I use the most. And you can actually save those using the share sheet in your iOS or Mac device and send it over to Evernote. And then when you've collected them all together, you can put them all into a note, which will look something like this. So what I want to do in today's episode is to show you how to create this so that you can start saving your notes and the quotes from books, so that you can actually have a wonderful notebook full of all the notes that you've kept from the reading that you've done, because you guys are very productive people, so I'm pretty sure that you do a lot of reading, I hope, because all successful people read. Anyway, before we go on any further, I would just like to ask, if you like this video, please click on the like button below, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do. Okay, let's get into Evernote, iBooks and Kindle, because I'm going to be showing you this on my iPad today and show you how all this will work. Right, so here I am in my Kindle, and this is a book that I read recently called Failure is Not an Option, Mission Control from Mercury to Apollo 13. Fantastic book, by the way, if you haven't read it already. So what we do is in Kindle is we can just grab the tool. Now I've actually selected a number of notes already, and sorry, I should go back to here. So what we have is up here on, if you see there, can we see just about there? We have the notes that we have collected in Kindle. So what you do is you click on that, and here's your notebook. I've collected quite a few notes from this book. And the first thing we need to do is we need to send it to Evernote. So I'm just going to click on the share sheet, and we've got email. And all I need to do is, I don't want to, you can choose a different style here. Let's just choose Chicago style. I'm going to click on export. And what I'm going to do is tool, and I just need to type in my Evernote email address and send. And that's going to send directly to my Evernote. Okay, so now we're finished in there, and we can open up Evernote. And here's one I actually created earlier just to test it. One always has to test, you know. So what I'm going to do is click on that, and now we have all the various things. Now it's a complete mess at the moment, so let me go over to my computer now, and I will show you how we set this up to make it look much nicer. Now, of course, when we're talking about design of a note, that's entirely up to you, but this is one way of getting your notes out of Kindle, or indeed iBooks, because it would work the same way, into Evernote. Okay, so this is the note now on your desktop, and I always find that it's much better to work with this on your laptop or desktop because it's just so much easier to work on. But what we're going to do is we don't need the iPad notebook export for, so we can get rid of that as your title. And then it says your notebook has blah, 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 blah. We don't need to get rid of that. So we can just start removing these things here. Now, it's entirely up to you whether you want to keep this in here. I would actually, because this part of the body, I know. So what I would do is I would bold that and I would make that into something like 18 because it's make it nice and big. Gene Kranz is the guy who wrote the book, and again, I don't need the Chicago style citation. And then as you go through, you just got to remove the you can remove the parts. So you've got, I wouldn't remove the page number, but then we've got these things in here. So all you have to do is just start removing these. So there's, you just basically got to go through it. So oops, go through the file and just remove these little bits. It's basically, you've got to go through this. Could take me a long time, but all I'm doing is just removing the unnecessary parts, but we end up with a very, very nicely organized where is it? There we go. We're going to get rid of that. And so there we go. We get rid of all these things. I shouldn't be doing this at the same time because and what we're doing is just putting space between these places. So I'm just going to do this a lot quicker now. But essentially, this is where we go through and just remove these things. So I've got here, that just needs linking up together, and then there we go. So essentially what you're doing is just cleaning up the note. And it might take you a few moments, depends how many notes you've got, but you can do it that way. So that's one way that you can do it. But what I would actually prefer to do, and I didn't do this in the thing, so this is if you want to collect all your notes after one time, that's fine. But what you can do is this way. Now, this is another book that I read, and I think this is a much better way, because all you need to do then is to remove the title of this note, like this. Whoops. The title of the note was the quotation that I actually caught, but I'm just going to go flight. This was another book which is linked to the you can put the title, and then what I could do is just add in here the person. Now the thing is, what you'll find is we'll have a lot of notes the same. If you capture this, so each highlight you just send directly to to Evernote. What you would find you doing, I'm just going to duplicate this because it'll be much easier to show you how this by duplicate note. So right, we've got a duplicated note. What I want to do is I want to merge these notes together. So we're going to merge them together like this. So now what we've got is we've got the same thing here, but what you can do is you can just remove these. So I'm going to remove that because we don't. We don't need that. I would put the title details in there, but afterwards, all I need to do then is just remove the image and just have all these little notes. So again, I can remove that. Actually, I would remove the whole thing and just put a little line in between. And you end up with this beautiful, I'm going to cheat now. So I copy that. Just imagine these were all different notes. We can put the line in again there, and then we can create and you can end up with all your notes, but you have the book cover. So the better way to do it is to think about when you're reading the book, you actually start saving the notes directly to your Evernote account, the notes as you make them, rather than collecting them as I showed you in the iPad, where you can just send the whole lot. So if you send it this way, it's going to look a little bit messy, but it depends on how you want to do it. I personally prefer this way because I get a copy of the cover of the book, and I can keep all my notes, and it's just easier to do when you merge the notes together. There's a lot less hassle. So you've got a couple of ways that you can do it, but this is one way of being able to manage to keep your notes together. So I hope this gave you a few ideas. Thank you very much for watching this. If you have any questions at all about this, by the way, this works just the same way in iBooks as well. So you can just hit the share sheet and send it. Actually, you might be able to send it directly to Evernote in that one. But anyway, I hope you found this very useful. Please, If you have any questions at all, hit the add a question in your comment section below, and it just remains for me now to wish you all a very, very productive week.